Hey friends, Andrew here, hope you're well. In this video, I'll be sharing 12 really amazing apps that will make your iPhone more practical and help improve your quality of life. These apps will get you better organized, travel more efficiently, and even help you snap nicer photos with less effort. So almost all the apps I'll mention in this video are completely free, or at the very least, they'll have a free trial. I'm pretty sure you'll end up downloading at least one of these apps on the list, so let's jump right into the first app. The first app is called Paste, and it's a simple app, but super helpful. It's basically a clipboard manager with an endless clipboard history. So what this is able to do is I'm able to access all sorts of saved text, images, and code all in one place. I'll give you an example. If I go into Safari here, and let's say I want to save this image here and add it to my clipboard, I'll click copy. And instead of just having that one single item on my clipboard, if I scroll back, you can see that it's now saved right here along with everything else that I've saved in the past, however long I've used this clipboard app for. So the best part of this app as well is it integrates really nicely into your keyboard. So if I go into text messages here and click the global icon, you can see I can access all my entire clipboard directly in basically any app, and I can paste it right in here and click send. So next up is Overlook, and this is my go-to weather app right here. So likely some of you might be thinking, why this app over Apple's weather app? And what I'd say is if you prefer easy, quick readability over stacks of weather information, Overlook is perfect for you. It's a beautifully designed app with two dynamic graphs here, temperature and chance of precipitation. And it's rendered around this really beautiful set of mountains that changes depending on the day. It's just really easy to read at a glance, and there's this haptic feedback scrolling through the hours. It's all really quite well done. So I've got mine also set up as a widget here and on the home screen, and it's one of the most visually striking weather apps that I've used. My only criticism is that I wish there was an extended forecast longer than just 5 days into the future. As you can see here, there's only 5 days. It's an entirely free app though, and so if you enjoy it, I think it's totally worth tipping the developer for this app and rewarding him or her for their great work. So if you're a podcast buff or you want to just listen to more podcasts, I find that this app here, Pocketcast, is the best podcast app I've used yet. It neatly curates all my favorite podcasts right here in this tab, and the filter function is really convenient. So if I go into filters here, you can click new filter and then set filters of different podcasts at specific filters. So to give you an example of this, I've created two filters here, one for short listens and one for runs. For example, the short listens is all the podcasts that I haven't listened to yet that are under 3-4 minutes, and that automatically curates them into these filters. You can click new filters here and you can see all sorts of different filters that you're able to create, whether it's release date or start or duration, even download status. It's all right here. Plus another great feature that I like using is multi-device sync. That's also really convenient on this app. I listen across multiple devices, and basically you get all your other podcast controls right here as you expect from different platforms on this app too, across all your different devices. Overall, I just find it really nice to have a dedicated platform with powerful tools all in one free app, and it makes me want to listen to podcasts more frequently, and that's all I can ask for with this app. If you want to get the most out of the iPhone's cameras, getting a third-party camera app is the way to go, and Halide Camera is a great app for that. I may be mispronouncing it. It could be Halide, but let's go with Halide. So initially, it looks pretty similar really to your default app, but this is where the difference is at. If you click into here and click manual, you're going to get access to a lot of manual controls like long exposure shots, shutter, and ISO. Plus there's even AI functionality to help improve photos. So if I scroll up and down, for example, I can control the shutter speed. If I scroll left and right, I can control the ISO. You can also see the wave graphs here and also the histogram. So those are controls that you don't actually get in the default app. But one of the features that I use most often on this app is the instant raw feature. So making sure that you turn on Pro Plus, and then in the settings, go into capture and capture in Pro RAW Plus. What this is going to do is shoot photos in RAW, but not just that. When you do shoot in RAW, there is this instant button here where it's able to instantly edit that RAW photo and get the most out of RAW photos because there's a lot of data in these photos. So the instant RAW feature basically immediately unlocks the potential of that photo by auto editing through AI, so you can treat it like a point and shoot, but in RAW format. And speaking of cameras and photos, SCRL is an app I love to use when posting beautiful carousel photos onto socials. So basically, there's a template gallery. Most of these are actually completely free to use. So I'll give you an example. If I click into this one here, you can see that this carousel photo is quite seamless. It looks beautiful. And all you need to do is populate these photos into here and then export it. And it'll give you this really nice, beautiful, full carousel image. So I'll give you a quick example of this. If I go into this one here, this is an example of one I created during my trip to LA a couple of months ago. And I just really appreciate the seamless scrolling, like it's one big canvas. And I feel like it elevates simple photo posts into something a bit more elevated and beautiful. So if you're on Instagram, by the way, make sure to connect up with me over there too, at Andrew Ethan Zeng. But yeah, overall, great, beautiful app to use. And it's basically completely free with some templates locked behind a paywall. But yeah, a great one to have if you like posting up photos onto socials. The next one is a lifesaver since I travel frequently, and it's Flighty. It's a completely free app that imports all your upcoming and planned flights all into one place, and then nicely visualizes it onto a world view and your travel path as well. It's quite a beautiful and useful app, and it gets even more useful when you click into the flight itself. So if I click into Sydney to Melbourne, for example, so I can turn on alerts for any potential delays or cancellations. This app is actually connected to the FAA, I believe, which is the Federal Aviation Administration database. So I find that it's quite quick when it comes to reporting delays. Scrolling down, you can also see the type of plane that you'll be flying, the arrival forecast depending on the performance of that flight in the last 60 days, whether it's been late, whether it's been cancelled completely. And then there's also even potential alternative flight options with a single tap. And there's also up the top here, I believe there was a live activity option right here. Click show, and what that does is if you have an iPhone 14, iPhone 15, basically your flight plan will show on Dynamic Island 3 hours before the flight is set to arrive, or set to take off, I should say. So that's just another small but properly useful feature. Plus, I'll often add my partners and my friends' flights in here too. If I click friends' flights right there, I can add their flights in here just to make sure they're landed safely, and I can auto import these by connecting it all up to my calendar as well. This one is an app that I don't use all the time, but is super useful when I do use it and when I do travel. It's sort of like having a passport holder for all your flights in a single place, no matter the airline I'm flying with. Another great travel companion app is this one right here. It's called AllTrails. It's a database of over 400,000 hiking and walking trails and spots around the world. So you can click into nearby trails and then go ahead and find the trail that you want to go on, and it's as simple as basically just clicking into it, and then it will load it up. It'll show you the elevation, the gain, the estimated trail time and path. You're just going to go ahead and click start, and then at the end, once you've finished your trek, it's going to show you all the stats. It's just a really beautiful and useful app. I don't hike as much as I want to, but AllTrails is an app that I like to keep in the back pocket for when I do get the chance to. I'll just whip this app out and get onto the hike. And yeah, it's just a nice collection of all these trails for easy access, particularly when you're traveling. So Parcel is a great free app to help track deliveries. It's a great one for important deliveries, or if you just have a lot of different deliveries to track like I do. So this is obviously a dummy account for privacy reasons, but all you need to do is click the plus icon here, and then you can enter the number. There's also a useful scan function to insert in the tracking code, so you don't need to manually type out all the ridiculous tracking codes. Then once it's in here, you have all your tracking in one place. You can click into it and you can see all the information and updates. Then you've got all your deliveries in one spot with also push notifications updates available. To help create better habits and keep track of streaks, Habit Tracker, this app down here, is a great app for, well, habit tracking. It has this appealing and simple user interface that makes it more enjoyable to keep on top of my habits. So you're just basically just going to insert your habits right here and the things that you want to track. And then once you go through your day, once you've completed it, you go ahead and check it off and then go back, and it will basically keep a track of all your different habits all in one spot. Also give you reminders that, hey, the end of the day is nearing, you haven't meditated for 10 minutes, for example. It gives you those really useful reminders throughout the day if I'm behind a certain habit for that day. And so, for example, I've also got the walking habit tracker that's connected to my Apple Health Stats, Apple Watch and iPhone, so all auto updates. And then for meditation, I'll come in here and I'll just start the timer and then go off and do my meditating. Everything else I'll mark off manually. But yeah, really simple app, but is quite useful for day-to-day use. Speaking of better habits, I used to not like running until I tried out this next app, which is Nike Run. And now I use it a couple of times a week, or I try to. But yeah, this is an amazing app. It's basically like a personal running trainer on your phone. So basically you're going to select the type of run that you want to go on, connect up your Spotify, let's just say click start, and then click download. It's going to download the guide, the PT, the audio as well. Just go ahead and click start. It's going to count down. And then it basically fades the music in and out nicely during the guided run. It makes running that much more fun. It also syncs up with an Apple Watch and the health app to help you hit your daily goals. And yeah, it's just a really nicely designed app with lots of different coaches, lots of different music, and a beautiful interface. It's helped me run more regularly, so any app that helps you be a better version of yourself is worth a download in my opinion. So next up is SongShift. It's an app that I've recently used to shift my entire music library over to a different platform, basically instantly. If you've ever thought about doing this, for example, moving Spotify over to Apple Music, it's impossible to do manually if you have a huge library of music. So what SongShift does is transfers entire playlists to different streaming platforms. So all you're going to do is click the plus icon here, connect up your music platforms, and then it can automatically choose a playlist, the albums, the songs, wherever it might be, and transfer it directly into the new platform. And the reason you might want to do this is because to stream in lossless and high resolution audio on Apple Music or Tidal, and the app also just helps share playlists with your friends who are on different platforms. So if you go into sharing right here, you can actually share playlists with your friends who are on Apple Music, Tidal, and you're on Spotify by generating a specific special link that imports that entire playlist into their music platform. So yeah, another reason to have SongShift on your apps. And finally, this app is called Autopilot. It's a pretty crazy financial app. It's one that I stumbled upon recently, but I haven't had the chance to use it yet, but I've been meaning to look into it more, so I thought it's worth sharing here. Basically what this is, in theory, this app will basically automate portfolio investments by literally copying the moves of big profile traders, as you can see here, the current holdings, and then it will move and invest for you based on these big profile traders. You're able to pick from politicians to large hedge funds and everything else in between. It's pretty automated as well once you've connected it up to the brokerage platform. And I believe obviously the app or the brokerage platform gets an additional cut from using this app. This isn't financial advice in any way, and I haven't personally used this app yet, so it's worth doing more research on this app before making any investments with them. But on paper, it's a great idea if it actually works well. So let me know which of the 12 iPhone apps did you end up downloading. If there's any apps you feel like should be on this list as well and I didn't have them in here, please feel free to comment them down below with me. If you made it to the very end of this video, comment the code word iOS. I'll drop a video somewhere on screen too, to the iOS 17 tips and tricks guide to get the most out of your iPhone. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.